Hello and welcome to another edition of Ask Coach Al. Today we're here with head football coach Tony Annese from Ferris State University, Big Rapids, Michigan. Tony had another great football season this past year. Congratulations, Coach, and welcome.
Thank you, Al. Glad to be here.
You know, we had a lot of questions, a lot of great questions from parents, so I want to get to them because I know you're recruiting, you had a lot of things going on, so we're going to hit them. But let's talk a little bit about Tony Annese's philosophy at Ferris State University.
Well, the first thing, as a coach and as a teacher for 25 years, our ultimate goal is to serve others. And so we're there to serve our players, and so that's priority number one, and to empower them to be the best they can be in all aspects of their life. And, obviously academics is a very big component, but also, socially, emotionally, and physically, doing the things they need to do to be successful at the collegiate level and on the field. Obviously, our philosophy is, winner in life, winner on the field. But you got to be a winner in all aspects of your life before you're going to be a winner on the field significantly. And we've had great success with that formula. But ultimately, it's to serve and to help young people be successful.
That's great. That's great. How does the process work? This is a great question. When it comes to academic money versus need versus athletic money, at a Division II school, whether you're in-state in Michigan or you're coming from Bradenton, Florida.
Right. So in Division I, they have 85 scholarships and you get a full ride or you're a walk-on. In FCS, they have 63. It's unique at Division II level because we've got 36 scholarships, full scholarships, but we also have probably 100 kids on scholarship. So we break it up. There's a certain formula in regards to academic success. So merit-based scholarship, we have it. It's called the Woodbridge Ferris Scholarship. So merit-based with a test score at this level, let's just say a 3.9 GPA and a 31 on the ACT, you get all your tuition paid. And then there's formula for each level. And so academic success is very important because it just brings you more money as a student athlete. There's Pell Grant money, and that's federal, need-based money. Fill out the FAFSA. There's a way to determine how much to estimate how much you're going to get. But once you fill out the FAFSA and you get the results from the federal government, that comes into play. Obviously, the aid, that grant and aid money that we have, again, 36 full scholarships, and we divide those up amongst now, 100 or so guys. And then there's other things that you can do outside scholarships. There's Ferris has a tuition incentive program, which is a state-funded program based upon, again, underprivileged kids. And so all those things, into a pot, and then you say, this is our offer. And I always tell young people, make sure there's clarity, that the offer is transparent. You should be able to see it on paper, and you should be able to see in there, what the housing situation is, what the meal plan is, how much are they paying for my tuition,
right,
and those kind of things. And then the last thing with that is that it's important that young people know, is there a loan included? Because loans are fine, but you're paying them back.
Right.
And so sometimes in offer sheets, a loan might be included in the offer sheet, and we don't include loans in our offer sheet because we want to be clear and transparent that this is the amount of money that we're paying for.
So when you talk about academics and loans, and the better I do on my ACT or SAT should match up more with my GPA, but that's also GPA in core. So for the parents, can you touch base at the Division II level, which is obviously a lot like Division I level when it comes to core? Core is core. Can you talk a little bit about your core subjects? Because I know parents were concerned about, and I've got questions too. Well, my son's a 3.3 GPA. I go, is that in core? Well, he has art and I go, those are fine to get into school,
right,
but they don't, that doesn't cover it. He
right,
could be a 295 in core. Can you just touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah, core GPA obviously is critically important when it comes to becoming NCAA eligible. there's really two processes involved. One is getting accepted in the school, okay? So at Ferris, you need to have a 2.5 cumulative, and you have to have, a certain test score, let's say a 17 on the ACT, which is where our standard is now. But with NCAA eligible, your core grades are the ones that count. And so I think parents should spend a lot of time knowing, you can find it online, and knowing what core classes are versus non-core classes. And they should also, the school should be really obligated, and the thing I think parents fail to do is use the school counselor, the high school counselor. That's their job, to know all those things. And they sometimes even have NCAA eligibility coordinators within the high school building, somebody that's an expert in that. And then you got to take in Division II now we have what's called a sliding scale for the first time.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that's very interesting when you talk sliding scale, because you couldn't use it before. Division I could,
right,
and now Division II can.
Yeah. So in simple terms, Division I previously they had it, Division II did not. But in simple terms, the higher the GPA, the core GPA, the lower the test score could be, and then the higher the test score, the lower the GPA could be. And so the sliding scale was such that maybe he's a weak test taker, but he's diligent and he can earn a good GPA by, doing all the things you can do as a student to do, be a successful student. But now Division II has it. It's different than Division I, so it becomes a little confusing. And if I said, the specific numbers now, no one would retain it anyhow.
Right.
But you need to really study, the SAT and where this SAT level matches up with this GPA level to be, Division II eligible. And that's the most important thing. Division I, it has the same scale. So if you got a 17 on the ACT, for instance, you had to have a 2.5 in your core, and then the higher the ACT, the lower the core could be. And there's just, there's a chart that tells you exactly where all those fall into place.
Okay, let's talk for a minute about, I'm a student athlete, and I'm out-of-state tuition, out-of-state athlete. Let's go back to Florida, because it's easy, and I'm from DeLand, Florida. You don't know about me, but I research Ferris State. I like what I see. I like what I've seen about campus. They have my academic, all the things academically that I need. Love the winning tradition that you built there at Ferris. How do I get a hold of you? What do I do to get your attention, to let you know that I want to come to Ferris State University and be a student athlete?
Well, you mentioned some great things there, so I'm going to kind of go with starting as to what a young person should really do to prepare themselves. So you mentioned academic program, okay? Study every university's academic program. Ferris has 190 majors, so we have a bunch of unique programs that people are like, I don't know what that is.
Right.
And nor do I, but
exactly.
But we get a lot of students from all over the nation that want something that's really unique. And so study what academic programs we have. People come to Ferris for construction management, for pharmacy, for optometry, for criminal justice, amongst many others. But so that's important. So that young person from Florida, they might say, oh my gosh, they've got welding engineering. Nobody else has welding engineering hardly in our area or in the state of Michigan. So I'm going to go to Ferris for welding engineering. So the best thing I think you can do is, be persistent. So contact your high school coach, have the high school coach contact us. The best way to do it is to beat us down with emails. And then, we get, 500 emails a day about prospects. So that may not catch our attention. When the high school coach says, hey, this guy's a player, this is his success, and include what high school he's from, what state he's from, how much he weighs, how tall is he, what position he plays, and all of those things are included in the email, then it's easy to watch the video, and then we make an assessment. We're wide open. Our quarterback last year was from California. We got a lot of kids from Florida, and so we're wide open with that mindset. We'll recruit just anybody from anywhere as long as they fit our profile. And then the last thing I think that's most important is make sure that you know, that the person, you know, gets onto our campus. And so, you know, culture's kind of something that you need to study. And I always tell young people, you know the culture. I mean, what do people say about Ferris State? What do they feel about our team? And you know, are we the program that fits the young person's needs? 'Cause,
Right.
You know, I always say I want them to want us as bad as I want them.